Fox. Shabbat Shalom. So nice to see you.
I don't think we've done this for a long time together on a Friday night, you and I.
I agree. I don't think that you and I have celebrated Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat together in, it must be like years even, right? It's just fantastic. So I'm so thrilled. It's a privilege. It's a great blessing to have Cantor Fox leading us so beautifully tonight. We welcome all of our friends that are on the screens, and we welcome all of you in the YouTube and Facebook universes who have joined us in our Valley Beth Shalom family to welcome Shabbat. So let's begin. We're going to welcome Shabbat. Cantor Fox, you have a little bit of music to help us begin tonight. Please help us sing.
So let's welcome Shabbat, as you and I decided, with Saul Zim's Shalom Aleichem. Everybody ready? Take a breath. Let's go. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet. Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la. Barchuni l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Seifchem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la.
Never will you hear more beautiful melodies to welcome us in Shabbat than from the voice of Cantor Herschel Fox. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's welcome in Shabbat together with the prayers of Kabbalat Shabbat. We turn in our Siddur to page 15. Lechu neranana. We join together.
Lechu neranana, lechu neranana, lechu neranana, l'Adonai. Lechu neranana, lechu neranana, lechu neranana, l'Adonai. Naria, letzuri yishenu, nikadma fanav betodah. Naria, letzuri yishenu, Bizmirot Maria lo, lechun ranena, l'Adonai, lechun ranena, l'Adonai arbaim shana. Akud bedor va'omaram toveh le'eva v'heim lo yadu derachai asher nishvati b'api yim yevor
We turn the next page, Psalm 96. We sing a song for Shabbat and join together at the bottom of the page as we conclude the song.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagei la'aretz, Yismechu hashamayim. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ, יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים, ומלואו, יירם הים, יירם הים, יירם הים, ומלואו, מעלו שדי, וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יוהר לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט עבר בצדק, ועמים באמונתו.
Page 17, we continue Psalm 97. Light is sown for those who pursue and seek righteousness, who find righteousness in the world. Light is sown, meaning that there is fertile earth in which light can be sown. And just like we think about a plant, a tree, a fruit blossom that grows in the ground, so too does light that is sown in the soil, which is our goodness, our commitment to mitzvot, our kindness and our generosity, or zarua la tzaddik. If we act with righteousness, then light will be sown for us. The bottom of the page 17.
Or zarua la tzaddik, u'le'yishrei lev simcha. Or zarua la tzaddik, ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק, ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק, ולישרי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו.
On page 18, we continue with Psalm 98. We sing together at the bottom. God comes to rule the earth as Shabbat begins. It's ruled with kindness, and it's ruled with fairness, and it's ruled with justice. As we conclude the Psalm, bottom of page 18.
ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים.
Continue, Romamu, Sadikim, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu l'char kodsho. We give praise, we lift up our voices as we sing together, Romamu, bottom of page 19.
Here's a Mojet Cernigan made famous by Saul Zim. Please join me. If you don't know it, I'll do it a few times. Romemu Adonai, Romemu, Romemu Adonai, Romemu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu. One more time. Romemu Adonai, Romemu. Romemu Adonai, Romemu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu, ve'yishtachavu le'arko v'odsho, ve'yishtachavu le'arko v'odsho, ve'yishtachavu le'arko קודשו, וישתחוו ליד קודשו. אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
It's accustomed to stand as we recite Psalm 29, turning to page 20 now. I'll begin singing. Kendra Fox is going to sing along, and I hope that I'll be able to keep as good a tune, a melody, and be on key as he is. If not, he's going to help me out. It goes like this: Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei elim, havu l'Adonai. Kavod ba'oz, lai, 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 havu l'Adonai, kevod shemo yishtachavu l'Adonai, b'chadra kodesh, kol Adonai alamayim, el hakavod yirim, Adonai, alamayim rabim, kol Adonai, Vakoach koi rai rai, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayshaber Adonai et arzei Alvanon, vayarkidem kemo egel Lebanon, vesirion, Kemo ben re'emin, yai lai lai, kol Adonai, chotzev lavodesh, kol Adonai, yachil yachil Adonai mibar kadesh, kol Adonai yechol elayalot, vayecher sof, ye'arot, Uvechalom, kulo omer kavod, yai lai lai, Adonai, lama bo yashava yeshev Adonai, melech leolam, Adonai oz, le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai. Before we begin L'Chadodi, and you can take your seats. We have a curious part of the Torah that we read. It's a very poignant moment, more poignant than what is often typified as the quintessential moment, the apex of the entire book of Genesis, when Judah comes to his brother Joseph, and Joseph reveals himself to Judah and says, I am Joseph, your brother. And that powerful moment is seemingly eclipsed by an even greater moment, which happens just a few verses later. It's when Jacob, their father, comes to Egypt and he meets Pharaoh. And the words used to describe their meeting are so extraordinary. They're so poignant and so filled with a sense of identity of who we are and how we relate with the rest of the world that we cannot ignore them. The word is bracha. When Jacob sees the Pharaoh, who is, for all intents and purposes, the most powerful human being in their world, the words that we would have assumed to be expressed would be those of deference. But Jacob speaks words of blessing. And it says, Vayivarech et Paro. The translation will have it, if you read, that he greeted Pharaoh. But he blesses Pharaoh with his greeting. he meets this man with this seeming disparity of relationship with the words of blessing. How powerful it is to think for just a moment, not about our family, not about how we relate to each other in the world as family, but how do we relate with the other, the people who are not like us, the people who may be higher in station and position, people who may be inferior or lower in station to us. If there's anything that should be defined or distinguished by those relationships, it's the word of bracha that penetrates between those connections. And it's not just once that Jacob blesses Pharaoh. Jacob blesses Pharaoh twice, when he greets him in the beginning and when their first encounter concludes. And what we learn from that is that embracing the other first requires a sense of confidence in yourself. Jacob couldn't present himself before the most powerful man in the world with words of blessing unless Jacob knew exactly who he was. And the second thing that Jacob teaches us, which is perhaps the greatest story that he has for his own life journey, but also it's the story for us too, is that of love. He's able to find in Pharaoh something that's worthy of blessing. And maybe that too is a great message for us as Shabbat begins, to be welled up with enough confidence in ourselves to see the others in our midst and to give them blessings. And then to also extend in that connection a sense of love, a sense of understanding that the other may be there to teach us something, maybe there to fulfill a part of our identity that we didn't yet see. How powerful and amazing it is that the story concludes with this. Sure, we know what happens, the chapters that follow, but for this moment, the story is complete. Us and them are met with blessing. Vayivarech et Paro. Jacob blesses Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, the great story at the end, attends Jacob many years later. We'll talk about that in a moment as we turn now to Lecha Dodi. Turning to page 21, we invite Cantor Fox to sing for us the first, the second, and the last verses.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nikabla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nikabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'letiferet, v'yitila, lecha dodi krat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekavla, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekora v'racha, me'rosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat chila, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzoala, toch emunei am skula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabla.
We turn the page now to page 23 as we find a song for Shabbat and we sing together Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. How wonderful it is for us to be together on this holy day of rest.
Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. The whole world is waiting to sing a song of Shabbos. The whole world is waiting to sing a song of Shabbos. And we are also waiting to sing a song of Shabbos. And we are also waiting to sing a song of Shabbos. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyoim ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor, shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Lay, 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 lay. Lay, 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 lay. Lay, 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 lay. Lay, 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 lay. Lord.
At the bottom of the page, we conclude the psalm for Shabbat. Odinuvum Beseba.
Seva, the Shainim Virananim, Leagid ki Ashar Adonai, Suri, Velo, Avelatabo, Adonai Malachut Lavesh.
Page 24.
Edo etecha eminu meyoy leveitcha navakodei Adonai leorech yamim.
Beautiful Kabbalat Shabbat. Thank you so much, Cantor Fox. Let us light the Shabbat candles as the evening prayers begin. It's our custom to rise as the candles are lit. If you have candles in your own home, you can light them now if you haven't lit them already. Or you can help us to recite the blessing for Shabbat candles in our home and hopefully welcome you into our home as Shabbat begins. Ya lai 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 ya lai lai lai
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'ad likner v'tzivanu le'ad likner v'tzivanu le'ad likner Shel Shabbat. Everybody, one more time. Lai 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 lai
For those who saw, I was like trying to potki with my candles to make sure that they didn't like set a fire, and then one of the candles fell. So I prevented 2 fires tonight, which is good. So we're off to a great start as we turn now to page 28. If you've been seated, we ask you to rise as we begin the evening prayers, Mari prayers together with Baruch Hu.
Et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam va'ed Elechai v'kayam Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai Hamarim Aravim.
As you take your seats, we continue with the prayers preceding Shema Yisrael, Ahavat Olam. Love fills the entire world as we prepare to recite the words which express oneness that connect us all. May we all be connected with love as we sing together, page 29.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amecha B'tah Torah u'mitzvot Hokim u'mishpatim Otanu li'vadeta Alekein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochaveinu v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה. ויעבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולם יהיה. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
We join together Shema Yisrael, page 30.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך,
Continue along, silently meditating on the words of Shema Yisrael on your own and at your own pace through the middle of page 31.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
We are people on a journey towards connection, journey towards a more perfected world, journey towards new discovery of the essential truth of our existence and that which connects us and binds us all together. And each day we remember of the journeys that we've taken from the darkest places to the places of freedom and light. And Micha Mocha, the words that we recite on page 32, remind us that in those moments in which we taste freedom, they aren't of our own doing alone. There's something that enables us to feel this presence and this connection, that tomorrow's possibilities are brighter than yesterday's sorrows. And we sing together with that great hope, Micha Mocha, page 32.
Bam bam bim bim bam yabba bam bam bim bam yum bam bam bim bim bam yabba bam bam bim bam ay 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 yabba bam bam bim bam ay 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 yabba bam bam bim bam ami chamocha bailim Adonai mi kamocha nehedar v'kodesh Nora teilot o sefer yam bam bam bim bim bam yabba bam bam bim bam yam bam bam bim bim bam yabba bam bam bim bam malchut charav echad bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze Elianu ve'yameru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed ונאמר יפד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
The story of Pharaoh and Jacob doesn't conclude after this moment. They won't speak to each other for the remainder of Jacob's life. But we'll be reading in the next chapters that Jacob's life will come to an end, and he will ask to be buried with his ancestors back in the land of Canaan while the family remains in Egypt. And when they take him back, the Pharaoh comes with them. It's a very brief statement, and the Pharaoh went with them. And we have to admire the strength of Jacob and his ability to have an effect on Pharaoh, but also to pierce the soul of Pharaoh to make such a grand commitment to escort this man to his final resting place. And while we would read this as maybe a sign of dignitaries showing their respect, what I think we understand is this incredible connection that we spoke about earlier. Sharing the words of blessings with others, demonstrated from a place of confidence in ourselves and a desire to share love, Well, that's something that doesn't diminish with years and with relationships. In fact, those encounters are so profound that even the most unique people, the most unlikely people to yourself can be so profoundly affected and can escort you in your time of need. As the evening falls, we also always pray for a sense of protection in these words, Hashkivenu, as we turn to page 33. And as we read these words of prayer and we ask for God's protection, we also remember that there are also prayers for healing, prayers for a sense that what we put into the world is stored up for us so that when we need it, healing will be available. We bless the world around us. We give to the world a sense that healing is possible. And as night falls and the uncertainty looms not too far off in the distance, we're reminded by Jacob and by Pharaoh that sharing the words of blessings, even after many years, those blessings attend us in our times of need, in our most vulnerable moments, and we are strengthened by them. Hashkivenu, page 33.
Veros Haleinu, Ugat Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haporei Sukat Shalom, Aleinu, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael,
We rise together for April 34 as we sing the verses from Shabbat to remember, protect, and love and celebrate this holy day. Page 34.
Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין ישראל אותי עולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue with Chati Kaddish, once again remaining standing and following the Kaddish, the Amidah.
יתגדל ויתגדל שמי רבה.
Amen.
מה דברך ירודה וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי ולמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירון בעולמה, ויאמרו Amen.
We now take a few moments of silent prayer and reflection, beginning on pages 35A or B, and continuing all the way through page 38. At the conclusion of your personal prayers, you could take your seats, of course, again, and reflect not only on the sanctity of this day, but also how you are a blessing and how you can be a blessing to others as this day of rest enters into our lives. Pages 35 through 38, the Amidah.
Shalom b'mirmav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, amen.
Amen.
Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
We rise as we conclude our prayers this evening with Aleinu, page 51.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'amon hakol, lateit gedolah le'oser b'reishit. שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם את חלקנו כעם, וגורלנו ככל עם ועם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושבי קרוב השמיים ממעל, שכינתו זו ושכינתו זו בגובי מרובים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס ולדות, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעתו היום, וישיבותה אל לבבך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ הביט תחת. אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד Ushemot, Ushemot, Ushemot Echad.
For those among us who are reciting the Mourner's Kaddish, we turn now to page 52. It's in the midst of our community that we welcome once again Elizabeth Guillon, who recently lost her mother, Sylvia Guillon. We also note the passing of Philip Schwartz, who was the son of Grace Schwartz, and of Bob Stuckelman, a longtime member of Valley Beth Shalom, who was the husband of Rosalind Bigatz and Tina Stuckelman, Zichronah Libracha. He was the father of Mark and Bethany Stuckelman, Joseph and Rich Stuckelman, and Nona and Renee Stuckelman, grandfather of Tatum, Max, and Hannah. All those who are also here in the midst of our community who are reciting these words, whether it's in memory, loving memory of a family member that's passed on, or it is in a period of mourning in which you are counting the days since the loss of a loved one. We invite you all to join with me now as we turn to page 52, reciting these words which sanctify life, which offer prayers of comfort and of peace to all who need. Kadishatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamnich malchutei, v'chayichon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei amaya, yitbarach yishtabach v'pa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei lekutsha b'richu, le'elam min kol b'chata v'shirata, Tush bechata benechemata, the amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom miromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. As you take your seats, before we conclude, we just want to wish you all a very warm and loving Shabbat Shalom. We want to say thank you, Cantor Fox, for a wonderful, beautiful music. When was the last time that you led Kabbalat Shabbat?
About 9 months ago, I think.
It's just incredible. So it's nice that you were here and leading it. It's always been a privilege to celebrate the beginning of Shabbat with you. And I'm looking forward to us spending the rest of Shabbat together. We're going to be leading services tomorrow at 10 a.m. So please join us here on Facebook, or I think if you have the Zoom link, you're able to participate. But I think we're broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. And then we'll also be joining at the conclusion of Shabbat tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., which is well after Shabbat, but it's just a great time for us to gather for a few moments to bid the Shabbat farewell, begin a week anew. It's kind of like the wonderful moments in the concluding days of the month of December when it's sort of work-filled, but it's sort of not work-filled. Hopefully for everyone, it's slowing down, and the slower pace is enabling you not only to stay healthy, but to reflect with goodness on the blessings that this crazy, unbelievable, and unpredictable year has brought to our lives. So anything else to add, Cantor Fox, before we say Kiddush and conclude?
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Thank you for joining us. I truly enjoyed being with you, Rabbi Hoffman, and with everybody. See you in the morning. Shabbat Shalom.
Let us conclude together. Thank you very much. Let's conclude together with the blessings of Kiddush. So if you're comfortable rising, we stand once again, and we conclude our Shabbat services after Kiddush with Adon Olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, B'Shabbat Kodshecha, B'Ahava U'Ratzon, Hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat Lechaim. Adon Olam.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chevtzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu oveh והוא יהיה בתפארה. לילה 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 והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להגבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא וידו אפקיר רוחי בעת אישן והעירה וימרוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא לילה 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 Laila 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 laila
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.